Welcome back, Limestone County sports fans. My name is Greg Wise, and this is
Jay Vassar.
We are going to be talking about Limestone County football, specifically results from Week 1's games this past week, and then we'll jump in to the upcoming games this Friday night. Jay, I know you were out at Salem at the West Limestone Clements game.
I was, and both teams played hard, and we'll give you the results here in a minute.
Yep, and I was in Ardmore for the Tanner game, kind of same type of game there. Both teams was getting after it pretty hard, and we'll get into that game here shortly as well. But first game off the bat, we're going to jump into a couple teams that played, teams out of Limestone County. We'll start at the top with 6A Athens. They beat May Jemison. They were over at May Jemison. Playing Friday night, 21-6.
Yeah, it was a good game. We talked to Coach Gross on our radio show Saturday morning. He says there's some sloppy times in the middle of the game in which both teams scored late in the fourth quarter. So It was 0-0 up till halftime.
Yes, that's some statistics I looked through. They were both. It was tied up 0-0 at halftime. Come out at locker room at half, started getting things going and putting some points on the board.
And I think Coach Gross said that Brogan had the first two scores, and May Jemison was driving, and a big interception and helped lead to Athens' last score, which Jemison scored late, but Athens come out with a good result.
Yeah, anytime you can start the season off with a win, good start, no matter what the scoreboard says, if it's a win, it's a win.
And Coach Gross even told us, he said he was so impressed with the new stadium, Joe Davis Stadium. He said, been over there for baseball games.
That's right.
But now, since they've redone it for the football club, he said, if any new school wanted to start a new stadium, that would be the blueprint. He said, because it was great. It's a great facility.
Yeah, so May Jemison's not playing in Milton Frank anymore, or was it just that one game?
I think it's just that one game, because they rotate them in Alabama A&M as well. So.
Yep. Do they got turf in that new stadium?
Yes.
Awesome. I remember watching plenty of baseball games over there in that new stadium when Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire and those guys were over there.
And even Coach Gross said he even tried out for the Oakland A's over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Hey, he's over there reminiscing and winning football games at the same time. So good night for Athens as they traveled down to South Huntsville and played May Jemison at the newly renovated Joe Davis Stadium. Is it still named Joe Davis Stadium?
It's called the Weeks Family Stadium now.
Ah, gotcha.
He said the only thing the locker rooms need are chairs. He said it's spacious clubhouses, but they just need chairs.
They forgot them. They'll have them in there in a couple of weeks. This week, Athens will be hosting Buckhorn. Buckhorn beat Decatur last week, 33-19. Know anything about Buckhorn?
Not too much. They always have a good program up there, so it'll be a tough task for the home opener for the Eagles for sure.
Yeah, I would assume Athens probably, holding a little bit of a few play calling things in their back pocket like most schools do, especially when they get to region play. Now, Buckhorn, is that a region game?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
So they may see kind of similar play calling things as last week, and then when they get to region play, they'll start pulling some of that stuff out that they need to advance to the playoffs. Again, Buckhorn comes in 1-0. Athens 1-0. Be at home opener for the Golden Eagles. You taking Athens or Buckhorn, Jay?
I'm taking Athens.
I think I will too. I think the home field advantage and Coach Gross and his staff get it done there and beat Buckhorn this week. Hopefully that will be the case.
And if you hadn't seen the first episode of Beyond the Lights with Athens, you need to check it out. It's on 48's app, website. So second episode will air on Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that's similar to Hard Knocks.
Yes.
If you're familiar with that, 48, local channel 48 is doing that with Athens and a couple of other schools, right?
I think Athens this is the first one.
Well, I think somebody said that they were going to do it with some other schools maybe this season. I don't know. I'm sure that might have been the only one that aired. But I was under the impression, I think Hartselle or –
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. Somebody was telling me about it. I haven't seen it.
Because Daniel told me here at church that they were going to follow them the whole season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if
I think they're doing it the whole season, but I thought they were doing it with
Okay.
some other teams too. May not be, not sure.
Okay.
Moving on, East Limestone traveled over to Westminster, and it did not fare well. Started off pretty well at the half. They were only down 14-13, and then as they came out of the locker room, Westminster cranked it up, started to put some more points on the board, and ended up defeating the Indians 42-20.
Yeah, like I said, it was close at half, and I thought maybe depth issues probably for East got them towards the end, so.
Mm-hmm. And Westminster's got a fantastic football program. They went to the quarterfinals last year in 4A playoffs, and so they know how to close out games, know how to get it done. And so tall task as East went over there, and again, were defeated 42-20. This week, East Limestone will travel to Hazel Green and play 6A Hazel Green, although they're 6A. I think that's a winnable game for the Indians.
I think it is too.
Hazel Green, I just looked it up right before we went on air. Hazel Green has lost 14 in a row. Now, one of those was their playoff game from 22. But they ended 22 on 3-game loss, did not win a game last year, and so they're now at 14 in a row that they've lost. So East or Hazel Green, Jay?
East Limestone. They're going to pull it out.
I think I'm taking East too. Going back on the road back-to-back 2 weeks in a row is going to be tough. But I think East Limestone, their new coach over there and coach staff can get that done as well. I'd like to see them get in the get a win for a county team, and then come back home and start to get into region play after that. The game that you was at, Jay, you were over in Salem, the big city of Salem, western Limestone County, as the Clements Colts traveled over there for a county rivalry game. Give us a little detail about that, Jay.
Well, it started off bad for the Colts. West kicks off to them. They drop the kickoff, and West gets it inside the maybe 15.
Right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Second play, score. Second kick, West kicks off to them again. Run two plays. Jake Fleming throws an interception. Kid runs it back to maybe the 5. West scores. So they were in a hole 14-0 before they could blink their eye.
Yeah.
But second quarter, Coach Pugh got them going, got them pumped up, and they kept it close.
Yeah.
But just
saying it was 20-0 at half.
Yeah. They just couldn't finish drives.
Yeah.
They get down there, and Jake ran the ball well, and other kids, he had running quarterback, run the ball well. They just couldn't finish drives. Mm-hmm. And they had one big play in the second half, and it got nullified by ineligible receiver downfield.
Gotcha.
So,
they called that?
Yeah.
Come on.
But
man.
I asked Coach Pugh about it Saturday, and he said, he was 20 yards downfield.
Well, yeah, if you get that far downfield, we got to.
He said he was looking for somebody to block, but
hey, if it's a run play, great.
Yeah. But West got a quarterback, came in from Hazel Green, and the kid from May Jemison, which he plays he's a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But Dawson Mewburn, senior, number 4, great kid. He's great hands. He scored at least 2 or 3 of the touchdowns. So they're going to be West's going to be pretty good in that region. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, West again is 4A. Clements is 3A. So I'm sure West is dressing a lot more kids than Clements is.
Yeah. Well, West dressed a lot of their middle school team. So
okay,
that makes it look bigger over there.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of West and their region, in their region is a 9-team region, which is crazy to me that they have a 9-team region. Like East and Ardmore in the same region, but there's only 7 teams in our region. But a 9-team region means you've got to win, unless something crazy happens. You've got to win 5 region games to secure the 4 spot. Yeah, and That's tough sled, man.
It is.
Now, there's going to be somebody that does that, so obviously doable. I think one of those games, West jumps right into region play right out the bat when you got to play 8 region games. Next week, they have East Lawrence at home, first region game. East Lawrence last week lost 52-12 to Lawrence County. Again, Lawrence County would be 5A. They're in the same region as East and Ardmore. And so East Lawrence lost to them 52-12. And so they come into Salem 0-1. West Limestone get it done this week?
I think so.
I think so, too. I think they keep the win streak alive, go to 2-0 with one region win, and keep rolling from there.
Yeah, I think West will get it done. And like you said, they need those region wins to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, every one of those region games for West Limestone is significant. When you got that many teams in your region, you got to prep for those and to get those wins. That's what a lot of these – I was trying to explain to my son over the weekend about all these games you got to win to make the playoffs. And like in our region where there's 7 teams, you could win 3 games and pretty much get in.
Yeah.
So you could be 3-7 and make the playoffs. Yeah. Now you don't want to do that.
No.
But, you see teams do that all the time, especially you start looking at playoff brackets in the state, and there'll be some team maybe down south or some up here. Sometimes who'll be 3-7, 2-8. 4-6, and they have secured a playoff spot. Now, obviously, that's not ideal, but it can happen.
It can happen.
Moving on from Clements has Ardmore this week, and we'll jump right into that Ardmore and Tanner game from last week, and then we'll talk about the upcoming Clements and Ardmore game. Tanner came to Ardmore. Obviously, Tanner's 2A. They were dressing probably 25, 28 kids. Ardmore dressing close to 70 kids, and you start to see that late in the game. But, man, Tanner's as always, got a couple athletes that can get it done. They're going to be super competitive in 2A in their region, and like they always are. And at halftime of that game, Ardmore was up 27 to zip on Tanner, and then went on to win that game 55-7.
And excuse me, I'm sorry. I think Coach Smith said he's had a few players that hadn't played before. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's what mainly some of the penalties was that they had against them. But they always have great athletes down there.
Right. And they'll start to mesh a lot better as the season goes along. You're correct on the penalties. Lots of penalties, lots of flags. The officials there at Ardmore High School was very generous with the yellow handkerchiefs on both sides of the ball. But both teams had to get that stuff cleaned up as they start to get into region play, and so they can be competitive in those games. Tanner, this week, they host Colbert County. Colbert County this past week lost to Central Florence 28-7, and that's a region game, I think, for Tanner. How you feeling on that Tanner-Colbert County game?
I think Tanner will get that home opener win. I think so.
Jay, I'm going to take Colbert County on this game. I hate to go against the home Limestone County team, but, Colbert County did get beat by Central Florence last week. I've seen Central Florence the last couple of years when they were playing Ardmore. They got a very good football team, only got beat 28-7. And so I think Colbert County gets it done down there in Tanner. Hope not. I hope Tanner wins. And gets it rolling again. Ardmore, again, as we already mentioned, will head to the Coxie area and play Clements. That'll be Clements' home opener. What you feeling on that game, Jay?
Well, the way Ardmore played Friday night, the way Clements play, I hate to go against my alma mater, but I think Ardmore pulls it out. Bigger school. Yeah. And more kids. And both of us will be at the game.
That's right.
So
maybe we can arm wrestle on a 50 or something.
Well, I'll make my high school football debut announcing we're going to do it for Play Action Sports.
Awesome.
So I know Ardmore Sports Network will be there as well. So
they will.
I'll be forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be down on the field shooting video, doing some different stuff than from what I've done in the last couple of years, and I like being close to the action. And I'm like the hype coach. I just like to hype these kids up. And so I'll be down there with you, too. I'll just, when I walk by the press box, I'll salute you or something while you're up there. I guess y'all probably won't be in the press box. You'll probably be in stands.
Yeah, we always sit up in the last corner where the referee runs the play clock at.
Gotcha. So then y'all can yell at the referees from there.
Yeah.
That's great. That's why I don't need to be up there, because I'll get in trouble for yelling at the referees.
Yeah.
I think Ardmore gets it done too. To your points, Jay, you're talking 5A football to 3A football, dressing, probably double the kids.
Yeah.
Ardmore does have a few kids that's playing both ways, not many.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the tail of the tape on deep into the game.
And experience, Ardmore 12 seniors, Clement's got 3 or 4 maybe. So
Yeah, Ardmore, from that game up in Ardmore this past week, looked really, really good. Offensively, looked better than I've seen them in quite a few years. Still got a young offensive squad. Quarterback's a sophomore. Starting 1, 2 tailbacks are sophomores. Both of those guys, I think, combined for 5 touchdowns. Quarterback threw another one to Skylar Jean. Alex King starting quarterback. Just some stats I got right in front of me, just because I got them right in front of me. King had, I think he was 6 of 8 for 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Riddle and Hawthorne combined for 5 touchdowns. Those are the 2 starting tailbacks there. Riddle had 91 rushing yards. Noah Stafford had 67 receiving yards. He also had a kick return for a touchdown. A funny fact about that, by that time in the game, the second stringers are getting in, which means my son is on the field. He's second string slot receiver. And so they had the 2s in. They got a drive in and punted. Tanner, I think, comes down to score. That was the only score of their game against our 2s. And then they're fixing to kick off to us again. And so my son and all those 2s are over there like, hey, we're fixing to get back in the game. We're fixing to get another drive. And they were joking, watch us running all the way back and us not get in the game again. And sure enough, I think it was about 82-yard touchdown return by Noah Stafford for that late score. They wasn't trying to run the score up. He just took it to the house, and then obviously those 2s on offense didn't get back in the game, but the defense did. Yeah. So those guys got a lot of young guys in the game, and so that'll help you on down the line when injuries and all kinds of things.
That'll help you out.
Yep. Okay. So you're taking Ardmore. I'm taking Ardmore. Last game of the slate this past week was our team of the week. What does teams of the week get from Limestone County sports? Absolutely nothing but pride, and the Bible
recognition.
Says yes, recognition. We'll use the word recognition, because pride. If you've been reading through Proverbs like most of us here at Lindsay Lane Baptist Church, you would have already learned that pride comes before the fall. Yeah, and so we don't want to be prideful in that. So you just get some recognition. The team of the week is Elkmont High School. They hosted St. John Paul II. I do think that was one of those games when we were looking at their schedule that was a winnable game. Yeah. And they were down 13-0 right out the gate. I think they had a couple turnovers. St. John Paul put those in for scores, went down 13-0, but they kept fighting. Coaches made some adjustments at halftime. Elkmont was up 22-13, so they ripped off 3 scores before halftime, and then held on at the end, 22-20. I got to flip over to their EHS Sports Network, the Elkmont Sports Network. After our game got done early, so I clicked over there on theirs to see if it was still playing. And I got to catch like the last 2 minutes of that game, and they held on, run out the clock 20, and beat St. John Paul 22-20.
I knew like maybe 2 minutes to go in the game, Elkmont had the ball, but they were in there deep. I mean, they're close to the goal line. And I'm just thinking, man, please don't fumble this. We want Joel to get that first win. And they handed the ball off to Guthrie, their senior, and he's holding that ball tight. So congratulations to Coach Shrink and his staff and the kids over there at Elkmont. Big win. Yeah.
Of note, Jake Guthrie had 34 carries for 208 yards. Wow. He's toting the rock. I know the Guthrie family really well. Went to school with Jake's daddy and Jake's uncle. Me and Jake's uncle was BFFs in high school. And so I know all of them really well, so good to see him having a good night. They will host Lexington this week. Lexington has had a fantastic football program through the years.
Yes.
Last year, I think they went to second round of playoffs last year, and guess who they met in the second round? The juggernaut Fife. And Fife beat them obviously in the second round. Then Fife went on to win the state championship, didn't it? And so, but anyway, they lost. Lexington lost last week, 41-0 to Lauderdale County.
Yeah,
Lauderdale County got a pretty good football team.
Yeah, they do. We went and watched them play last year in that playoff game against. I can't remember who it was. Was it Glencoe?
I think so.
Yeah, they had a great team down there, and they always do at Lauderdale County. Don't matter what sport.
Yeah, so to say, Lexington lost to Lauderdale County 41-0 is, hey, that doesn't really mean a lot because Lauderdale County's, legit. And, again, Lexington's 2A.
Yeah.
Lauderdale County 3A.
Yeah.
And so they're playing up a class anyway. Lexington comes into Elkmont 0-1. Elkmont 1-0. Who you got in that game, Jay?
I'm going to stick with the Red Devils.
I think I am too. Red Devil at heart, alma mater.
Yeah.
And Joel Shrink is here in our congregation, so I'm gonna give the Red Devils a nod there. I'd like to see them keep winning and start off 2-0. That's not a region game for Elkmont, so they haven't got into region play yet, and hopefully they will stay undefeated on the season. Any other games or things of interest, Jay, we want to share?
Not that I know. I mean, we've covered most of the.
Yeah, I think Lindsay Lane. We talked about them last week. They only are playing JV. I think
they're
got
playing tonight at West Limestone.
Yeah, they have a JV and a middle school team. I think last week they played JV. I just seen some pictures. Over at Westminster, don't know if that was kind of a jamboree type game or what. They did win that game. I think it was like maybe 36-8 or 38-6, something like that. But they are taking their middle school team and their JV team over to West Limestone. Is that at West?
It's at West. I think middle school starts at 5:30 and JVs follow that.
Yeah. Now, by the time y'all listen to this, those games will be over with. So we apologize for that. But maybe you can be seeing the updates on those scores by the time we air this.
Which I don't know the results, but I knew this past Saturday was the middle school jamboree at West Limestone, so all the county schools played. I don't know how it all turned out.
Yep. All those JV middle school teams will be getting cranking up within the next week or two, I think. Or I know our Lindsay Lane will be coming to Ardmore next Tuesday, I think the day after Labor Day, to play a JV game. And so good seeing high school football cranking back up here in North Alabama, especially when we get to region play. I woke up Friday morning so eager to get to the football field. We were tailgating up at Ardmore. We had some people out there, tents and smokers and grills, and, man, it was awesome. We got up there about 4:30, 5 o'clock. But I wanted to be there at like 10.
Yeah.
But there was school going on, so you can't kind of just show up and start tailgating, while school's still going on. But we were pumped up about it, and then as soon as the game's over, you're like, okay, I can't wait till next Friday.
I know.
And I really can't wait till we get into region play. Ardmore goes down to Priceville, not this Friday, next Friday, and you'll really see what your teams are working with and what you got to look forward to.
Did Brody miss playing?
Maybe. Brody's my son. He just graduated this past spring, and he played last year. Played all 4 years, 9 through 12. I think he didn't really say nothing much about it. Like he's odd character. He did send me a text message. Like he was up in Kentucky playing paintball of all things. He's picked up this paintball hobby, and I like to call it home rich. He's at home and he has a full-time job now, and so he can just blow money on all kinds of stuff. And so he's blowing money on paintball stuff.
Yeah.
And he was up in Kentucky with some of his friends all weekend paintballing. I don't know what that entails, but I think they did pretty well. But anyway, he texted me Saturday morning. We were headed over to a middle school volleyball tournament over in West Morgan with Bella. And he was texting me in the morning, wow, 55-7, that's pretty good start. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, so swapped a few text messages, so he was paying attention. He probably misses it if he ever gets to come to a game. Like, he was out of town this weekend, so he may probably show up at Clemens and be like, man, I wish I could go out there and knock a head or two a couple more times. But anyway, Jay, that's about it for this week's show. We're trying to keep it short, under 30 minutes, so you guys can listen to this stuff on the way in to work or on the way home from work or while you're grilling or whatever, getting ready for those Friday night games. Hopefully we will be able to drop one of these probably around midnight on Wednesday night. I just schedule it, and then that way you got a couple days to listen to it before that week's games. May get it out earlier than that if I can. And in the comments section on Limestone County Sports, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, please keep us up to date on any scores. What we're going to try to do, usually if you're connected to our Facebook page, we'll post something on 6 o'clock about Friday night, and then you can update scores in that comment section. So anybody in Limestone County would have a one-stop shop where they could go and get local scores and updates. You could post your videos, pictures, from any of those games in that section.
And we appreciate all the likes and all the hits and comments as well. So y'all keep them coming.
Yeah, surprisingly, Jay, I looked at it late last night. We had over a couple hundred listens on YouTube, which we said, our first episode last week, we expected tens of tens. And we got hundreds of hundreds. So, hey, that's pretty good. I know there's a lot of people out there who love talking local football, local sports. Yeah. And been in Limestone County a long time like we have. So, a lot of people across the county, and so you keep up with these things. So, we appreciate you listening. Do like, share, click, comment, all the stuff. And hopefully we'll be back next week with some updates, get you some more scores, and start to talk about some of these other kids who are putting on the show on Friday nights. Go out and support your local teams, get involved in your local community, volunteer in your local community. I don't know if anybody watching or listening has seen Ardmore's football field. There's a crew of volunteers who paint that football field, and I'm one of those, so I'm a little biased, but I would put that it's not turf, it's grass. I would put that live grass football field and field crew up against any field in North Alabama. Somebody show me a better one.
Yeah, well, y'all did a great job, especially with the Eye of the Tiger, and I told you that the other night, so y'all keep up the good work up there.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big LSU fan.
So, I know.
It's a little bittersweet that we do have kind of a similar Eye of the Tiger in our as our midfield logo, but Bryant Wales, the offensive coordinator up there at Ardmore, he takes care of all the grass all summer, and it looked fantastic. And me and a few guys went up there and sweated to death for about 12 hours Thursday night getting it right. And I think it's going to look better as the season goes on, and we can get some things down pat. But hey, when you guys get your fields painted, post those pictures on our Limestone County Sports Facebook page. We'd love to see those. I like seeing those midfield logos and how y'all do things, and give those volunteers a shout. Any of those volunteers that are working, doing things behind the scenes at your programs, give them a shout out as well. And we'd again encourage you to do so. Be a positive influence on the kids and the people in your community. Thanks for listening. See you next week, and God bless.